Bash at the Beach 2000 incident, and people always talk about this. There's been a Dark Side of the Ring episode on it. I think that was an hour long. Um, Leading into that night, obviously, there's been disagreements on what was agreed, what wasn't agreed, so and so, so and so. Could you share some insight from your opinion? What was going to happen on that night, and kind of how things kind of got twisted along the way?
Well, see, here's the problem. Hulk had to approve the creative, okay? And before we left to go to Bash of the Beach, Hulk had approved the creative. He approved it through Johnny Ace. He approved the script. So now I show up at Bash at the Beach, and we're about 2 hours before the show, and Eric Bischoff comes up to me and says, "You better go talk to Hulk because he's not gonna do what was written." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? He agreed to that before we even left Atlanta." So now I'm completely caught off guard 2 hours before the show. So we go in the room, and Hulk's pitching his idea to me, and it's clear he wants to leave the building with the title. And bro, you got to understand, Hulk wants to leave the building with the title because Hulk got paid depending on how many times he was on television. So in Hulk's mind, if I'm the champion, then I got to be on TV every week and they got to pay me. Okay, I understand that, bro. I know what he's thinking. But in the meantime, we had already decided Booker T was going to win the championship.
Mm.
So I then laid out a story to Eric and Hulk. They were both in the trailer, and it's the exact story you saw on television. Everything that happened out in that ring that night, they were 100% on board with. The only one who I did not smarten up was Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett did not know this was a work.
All right.
Hulk, Eric, myself, we were all on the same page. What happened was Hulk went home back to Tampa, wherever he lived. He got on social media, and everybody believed it. So Hulk's sitting there reading, "Oh, somebody finally put Hogan in his place. Russo got over on Hogan." He's reading all this shit, and it's just eating away, eating away, eating that way at his ego. So the next thing you know, he's suing me for defamation of character because him and Eric had no idea of bullshit, bro. They're liars. They knew everything that was going to happen. We were all on the same page. Hogan's ego got hurt because people believed it and people thought I made him look bad. And thus he attempted to sue me for defamation of character, where he was literally laughed out of court, not once, but twice.
Did his reaction after the show kind of surprise you, or did you
No, bro,
put your
I'll tell you why it didn't surprise me. I'll tell you why it didn't surprise me. Because part of it was my fault. After I pitched everything to Hogan, Hogan said, "Bro, that's a great idea. Then Booker will have a belt, I'll have a belt, and we could do something with me and Booker." And I said to Hulk, I said, "Hulk, let's get through tonight. As soon as I get back to Atlanta, as soon as TV is over, I will call you and we will discuss where we go from here." Bro, I had every intention in the world of calling Hulk. Every intention. I would not tell him that if I wasn't going to call him. So what happened, bro, was I got back to Atlanta. Brad Siegel called me in his office, said, "Vince, what happened?" I explained everything to Brad Siegel. Brad said to me, "How did you leave it with Hulk?" And I said, "Brad, I told him I was going to call him and we would talk about where we go from here." And Brad Siegel, who was running TBS and TNT at the time, he was the boss. He said to me, "Vince, you cannot call Hulk because we can't afford to put him on television. And because my boss told me that, I didn't call Hulk. So now the fact that Hulk thought, the people believed it, and now because I told him I was gonna call him and I didn't call him based on what Brad Siegel said, then the lawsuit came. So I was not surprised, I was not surprised at all by it.